What's going on, guys? It's Corbin here with Acoustic World. You can see I've upgraded my recording setup. I finally got a good microphone, and it actually was not working with my cell phone, so I've dug out my fancy camera for you, and today I'm going to give you five, maybe even more than that, five pieces of advice to stay motivated while you are learning the guitar throughout your guitar journey. So this can apply whether you're a beginner, whether you're intermediate, or whether you're advanced, you've been playing for years. These are things that have helped me over the years. The guitar, I think, it's seen as like an easy instrument for people to get into compared to, like, I don't know, the cello or piano or something. I think because there's less like theoretical baggage associated with it, it's less associated with music theory. And so then when people start playing and it doesn't come super easily, and you realize it takes a few years to get good, it can be tempting to sort of put it away or sort of lose that initial drive that started you playing in the first place. So here are some tips to keep you going and, you know, keep your love for the instrument throughout the years. And I still love playing guitar to this day, partly because these are things I keep in mind and things that I've done. So we'll start off right away. One thing I already mentioned is connecting with what that initial drive was that originally drew you to the instrument, okay? Like for me, you know, you'll see now my channel is all like acoustic stuff, but it didn't start out that way. You know, I was originally very into the music of the Grateful Dead. So like Jerry Garcia was one of my first like real influences, who I just heard playing and was like, man, I have to figure out how to make that sound for myself. And you know, then later on it was guys like Eric Clapton and like Stevie Ray Vaughan, like the really good electric blues type players. And then moving into, you know, the type of stuff I do now, what, you know, inspired me to change over to the acoustic guitar was listening to like Norman Blake and Tony Rice. Really those two guys. It was again like the same, you know, experience where I was like, man, I have to learn how to sound like these guys and do what they're doing. And so whether it's a specific guitarist or a band for you, or a style of music, maybe you went to like a concert and you were like, wow, I have to like learn how to do that. I think over the years that can become like a distant thing. But if you keep that initial driver at the forefront of your mind and remember, you know, why you're playing the instrument in the first place, it can really help you stay motivated throughout the years. So that's my first tip for you guys, is connecting with that initial what or why that started you playing the guitar in the first place, okay? The second thing I'll say is picking up like a new kind of guitar, or switching to a new, not even style of guitar playing. I'm talking just switching from electric to acoustic, or to classical, or, you know, vice versa. Like I mentioned, I started out playing mostly rock, blues, and like jam band stuff, like the Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers. I was really into like Duane Allman's type of things. I tried playing slide guitar and was like terrible at it. But then, you know, when I heard Tony and Norman Blake, I was like, oh my gosh. And Bob Dylan, like the folk guys, that made me just totally not give up electric playing, but just shift over to the acoustic for the first time. And when I did that, it was like a whole new world of the guitar just like opened up to me. Because the way you approach the acoustic guitar is just completely different from the electric. Like I had like the foundation from my electric playing, and obviously like some things carry over, just like pentatonic scales and like basic chords, and, you know, you have more of a foundation than someone just starting out. But switching over to a new kind of guitar, switching from electric to acoustic or vice versa, Really just opens up a whole new world of guitar playing for you to explore, whether it's just technical, like how you explore the instrument and voice things and play certain chords and stuff, or just like the type of songs that it opens up to you are completely new. Like, no one's gonna play Simon and Garfunkel on their Stratocaster. It's just not really. You could, but I think that shift to a different instrument helped motivate me as well. So the other thing I'd encourage you guys to do is learning music theory can actually motivate you. And I know as guitarists it can be tempting to sort of stay away from theory. And even me now, I can't really read music. I took music theory classes and learned how to read it, and just ended up using music reading like so little that I just kind of forgot it. So that's not really what I'm talking about, actually. It's more chords and like how songs are put together, like the circle of fifths. What makes up a chord, like the root, the third, and the fifth. You should know stuff like that. The pentatonic scale, the major scale, modes, how the fretboard connects, like the caged system, how to get around on the fretboard, different chord voicings, like a C9 versus a C5. That stuff is not very theoretically dense. Like, you can learn it in an afternoon. And it just, when you have that theoretical framework of actually understanding in terms of music theory what you're doing on the instrument, the guitar seems a lot less, you seem a lot less locked in. It's kind of a contradiction where like learning all these theoretical constraints is actually what frees you up as a guitarist and allows you to improvise more freely and have more freedom on the instrument. But you need that framework of music theory and stricter systems of understanding things to get to that place of freedom. So I would encourage you to just start out with basic music theory. The circle of fifths, the caged system are good places to start, and like chord voicings, and move on from there. But theory can be actually a very motivating thing as a guitarist. The other thing I'll say, guys, is, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here because I wrote a million things down. I should mention I have like an article where I have 30 of these ideas, and I just don't have time to make a video like talking about all of them. I don't want to bore you to tears, but if you want to look at the article and like scan through it to find the best ones, like there's a lot of stuff I'm leaving out to make this video. I'll have a link down below where you can check it out. So definitely do that. But maybe the last thing I'll mention is setting clear goals. And I think as guitarists, at least for me, my initial goal was just like, I want to sound like this person. Like I mentioned with Jerry or, Clapton. Or just the goals are too vague. Like I want to sound like him, or I want to get really good, by this date. And the problem with that is it's outcome oriented in a very vague way, whereas your goals should be more specific and more actionable in terms of like, you should have clear ways of like achieving them. So a good one would be like, I want to learn finger picking by X date, and just like basic finger picking, not like I want to be finger picking master and sound like this guy by June. Instead, it's better to say, something really clear and actionable, and the smaller the goal, actually, the better. So, like, I want to learn the basic Travis picking pattern and just learn it and start practicing it by the end of the week. Stuff like that. And then setting up little things you can do each day. Like, I'm going to work on it for 10 minutes a day. Just practice that until the end of the week. That's more the goal setting that I'm talking about, and it's more what I'm focused on right now. Whereas, that's the other thing is as you're playing, you just start to like pick up your instrument and do random things and like that you're already good at and call that like a practice session. At least that's been, my limitation lately. I just kind of jam around and like play songs and it's fun and I get better at them, but you're not really learning new things most of the time if you had like set a clear goal and an actionable plan to approach that goal each time you practice. So that's another tip for you guys. And I'll give you like a bonus tip too that goes along with that, is having, you know, some sort of guitar teacher, whether it's like an online guitar course, or finger picking is a good example, because I kept telling myself I would learn it, and I would just like learn bits and pieces of it and get frustrated and like put it down and stop doing it because I sucked so much at it. So I finally was like, I'm just gonna get a teacher and we're just gonna work on finger picking, and that's it. So that one, you're kind of combining a clear goal and a guitar teacher, and that is like, it's really gonna maximize your learning process. So that's what I did. I got a guitar teacher to just teach me Travis picking, and that was his specialty, with a thumb pick and also just finger style with the thumb, like Mississippi John Hurt or whatever. So we just worked on that for like an entire summer, and I finally learned finger picking because I just wasn't motivated enough to like stick it out myself. And so that's the other thing about a teacher, is they can kind of hold you accountable because, you know, you're seeing them every week. So there's some pressure on you to actually get better rather than just saying that you will. And for certain things like finger picking, I needed that in my guitar journey because I just wasn't going to commit to it on my own. So if you run into hang-ups like that, especially if they're very specific, getting a teacher just to like get you over one plateau or one roadblock in your journey is like totally worth it. I think we think of guitar teachers as someone you just work with for like years and years and years, but you can hire a teacher just to do like a very specific thing that you want to work on for a short period of time, and you'll be really amazed at how much mileage you get out of that. So I want to wrap things up, guys. I don't want to keep you here all day, but I'll link to my full article on like 30 of these ideas to like keep you motivated and keep you advancing as a guitarist through the years. Keep the boredom and the frustration at bay, because again, I totally get it, but these are some of my favorite tips that I've used, and some things that, you know, like I said, have personally helped me overcome my roadblocks as a guitarist. So I hope that was helpful. I hope this recording setup is good, because this is the first video I'm trying with it. So let me know in the comments if this helped you, and I'll set you guys up with that article in the description box below. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to start putting out stuff like this every week. So thanks for sticking around.